Short story number 12. Will paves the way. It is difficult, but not impossible, to conduct strictly honest business. By Mahatma Gandhi. Why are you waking me up so early? The public prosecutor, Mr. Rangachari, grumbled, yawning in bed and feeling his aging limbs crackle as he stretched. He observed his middle aged personal assistant bending over him and patting. The deep chimes of the grandfather pendulum clock on the wall indicated it was 6 a.m. Sir, today is an important day in the court. You have asked me to wake you up early as you have to look into the concerned file. The assistant drew back the curtains of the window that overlooked the Bay of Bengal seacoast at Vishakhapatnam. Thank you, Murthy. Mr. Chari stepped out of the cot and in a few minutes got ready for the day. He combed his grey streaked hair and slid into his customary white shirt and black coat on top of dark striped trousers as worn by men of law. He sat at his breakfast place on the table, glancing through his reading glasses at the headlines of the English daily newspaper spread beside the plate. Sir, whispered the assistant, standing in the traditional coarse white shirt and dhoti. Yes, Mr. Murthy. Mr. Chari looked up. He could not help feeling proud of at his assistant's pair of bright scholarly eyes under the aging grey eyebrows peering at him through the shell-framed glasses. A trusted BA belonging to older school and beaming a mature look. Sir, said Murthy, you have a blemishless record as a prosecutor, having had 2 decades of experience as a zealous and devoted lawyer. That is the number of years you have supported me ever since I lost my parents. You have also even foregone your marriage to devote yourself wholeheartedly to the profession. It was a great experience to be of service to you. Yes, Murthy, I appreciate your sentiments. Though your aged parents are in the village, they are in my heart. Murthy tapped at his chest proudly with great emotion. That is why you have become almost a member of our family, looking after all my needs. Now I know. What do you want to say something? Sir, everyone is waiting to see what will be the outcome of the rape case today, as this case involves the accused, who is the son of one of the most influential personalities of the town with a lot of money and muscle power. That is what is disquieting, Murthy. As you know, so far I have been successful in all my cases. But today, I don't know. But intuition tells me of success, sir. You have the reputation as a devoted, honest prosecutor and have also inherited the uprightness of your father, a retired judge. And you are ably supported by Inspector Pandeji, known for honesty and efficiency. The scales of justice are tilted in your favor. Murthy, Mr. Chari chuckled and exclaimed in a mock, chiding tone, you seem to know much more than what you should. Long association with you, sir, smiled Murthy. About today's case, everyone in the college also seems to be talking, sir. How do you know about what they are talking about in the college? Sir, driver Ramu stays very near the college and he learnt about this from the gatekeeper of the college. Don't you people have any other business? Uttered prosecutor, eyeing him sternly, inwardly appreciating his benign interest and wanting to know more. Not answering the master's query, Murthy continued. Sir, what driver Ramu has gathered is that the victim is from middle class family. The accused student had the audacity to openly brag in the college the next day that he was really a man to do it, just before he was taken into custody. And fearing his background, no student is willing to come forward to support the rape victim, though all the students have heartfelt sympathy for her and know that the incident has taken place. Okay, Murthy, I'm going to the court as it is nearing 9 o'clock, Mr. Chari murmured, overwhelmed by emotion. If I lose today, I do not deserve to continue as a prosecutor. I will become an also ran entity incapable of facing the mach- machina- machinations of the powerful. As I told you, sir, you shall win. Nodding thoughtfully, the prosecutor reached and slid into the car, and driver Ramu began driving the car towards the court. Leaning back in the seat, Mr. Chari began to go through the case file. He felt his blood boil when he thought of the brutal and arrogant character of the accused, student Ranga. The helpless victim Vani hailed from a middle class family. Her father was a teacher in a municipal high school and her mother was no more. Vani was an art student of National College and known for her modesty and was admired as beautiful, active, and intelligent. She was attending a students' picnic party around Burra Caves near Vishakhapatnam town. Her grandparents were staying in that village and she wanted to visit them after the picnic before reaching her home back in the city. Ranga, a student of the same class, offered to wait for her at the picnic spot to drive her back home, while the other picnickers returned by college bus. Though he hailed from a powerful family, she did not expect him to go to the level of any abuse. Further, she was eager to get back home the same night so that she could attend her cousin's marriage the next day. So she agreed. As per a statement, Ranga had raped her on their way home at a lonely spot. Being alone and helpless, she tactfully promised not to reveal the incident and thus managed to get dropped at her residence. After reaching home, she burst out her agony to her father and lodged a complaint with the police, who had taken the accused into custody. Mr. Rangachari raised his eyes from the file and looked out of the car window thoughtfully. As none has come forward to testify to the character of the accused because of his powerful background, the court will only uh, the court will consider only the clinching contents of the medical reports, mainly the DNA and colposcopic findings by the experienced senior forensic expert, Dr. Lakshmipati. Dr. Lakshmipati was an expert respected by courts but suffered from a gentleness bordering on softness, resulting his not being psychologically strong enough to stand up to any muscle powers. This weakness of the expert prompted Mr. Chari to advise the inspector suitably, and he could recall the conversation also. He had said, Mr. Pandey, please give all the protection to Dr. Lakshmipati and try to preempt any violent moves from the supporters of the accused either to coerce him or to forestall the submission of the report, hoping for ex parte degree. The report should be submitted to me in a sealed cover before the hearing at any cost. Sure, sir, the Inspector Pandey has assured. I also fear that many resort to bullying or kidnapping, etc., just before the date for stalling the proceedings. So I shall ask the doctor to be tactful till then. And as per your advice, I will provide him all the protection and obtain frank, straightforward report and I submit to you. I shall take full care of not only you but also myself. Thank you, Mr. Pandey. Remember, the reputation of both of us is at stake in this case. Okay, sir. Despite this assurance, Mr. Chari was continually haunted by the enormity of the power of the accused. The car was nearing the court. His watch showed 10 a.m. The inspector should have obtained the report today. Anxiously, Mr. Chari tried the inspector's phone. What is it? It was switched off. Pandey was never uncommunicative. Uncertainly gripped Mr. Chari. Had my fear come true? The car mournfully screeched to a stop before the massive red brick court building. Suspense weighing him down. Mr. Chari got down and began walking through the long corridor of the court. He desperately tried again for Pandey's number. No response. Weighed down by overpowering depression and as if he were under a spell, he reached his chamber in the court. No trace of Pandey. What to do without the report or Pandey in the court? Mr. Chari craved for his customary steaming morning tea. Expectantly, he turned towards the doorway. He felt a welcome relief at the sigh of a boy in the cotton vest and lungi, carrying, as was done daily, a kettle and a short pile of paper cups. The boy placed a cup before the prosecutor, filling it with steaming tea, and walked off. Despite the enlivening flavor of the steaming beverage, his mind reverted to the question: what to do without the report or without Pandey? He entered the court hall and took his seat. The accused, already brought, and was standing in the enclosed space meant for accused, and was displaying a merry, knowing smile. No signs of remorse in those rough features. Mr. Chari thought the supporters or family of the accused must have played their powerful role to get him freed. The judge took his seat on the dais and turning to the prosecutor asked him, "Is the medical report ready?" Feeling totally battered, Mr. Chari first looked at the entrance for any signs of the inspector. Finding none, he nervously rose. He was not sure how the judge will react. The judge was a stern stickler for promptness. "Mr. Chari, tell me whether you have the report or not." Just then, Constable Singh, a trusted lieutenant of Pandey, respectfully entered the hall and after a salute towards the dais came up to Mr. Chari and whispered, "Sir, Pandey sir has not been seen since last evening and the station got the information that Dr. Lakshmipati is also missing. No information available at their residences also. They are all worried. Our station personnel are on the search for them. I want to inform you so that you can seek time, sir." Staggering blow. The prosecutor turns towards the judge, cleared his throat, and faltered. "Your Honor, I am now informed that the investigating officer, Sir Pandey, has not been seen since last evening, and his whereabouts are not known even to his family and his own station. The forensic expert is also missing since last evening. We need to ascertain what happened. It will take time to explore his office and to get the report from an alternative official from his office. Hence, it is prayed that 2 days of time be granted for the submission of the report." The judge cast a dissatisfied glance at the prosecutor and said sternly, "I do not appreciate the way the case is being handled. You should have ensured that the evidence is available to the court in time. However, I grant you only 1 day's time. If the report is not submitted by day after tomorrow, I shall proceed with my judgment ex parte and may consider passing strictures about your negligence to submit the crucial evidence in time. The court is adjourned." The judge went off the dais. Mr. Chari turned his eyes towards the accused. There was a gleeful, knowing grin on the face of the accused. Kudos to the accused who seems to be managing the whole affair. Reaching home, the prosecutor just slumped into the chair, throwing away the briefcase in despair. What if Pandey and Dr. Lakshmipati do not turn up day after tomorrow? "Sir, what happened in the court today?" asked Murthy, picking up the briefcase. "Murthy, please don't ask me anything. I think I should give up the post as my cherished reputation will be shattered day after tomorrow. Even the inspector on whom I relied is not traceable." Mr. Chari gripped his forehead with both the hands. "Sir, intuition tells me you will be rewarded day after tomorrow, sir." "Dump your intuition. Let me have some fruits and little rest. Switch on the TV. We may know something about these two people." The news channel came alive and the scrolling at the bottom caught the prosecutor's attention. It read, In the case wherein Ranga, a student, is facing rape charges, the forensic expert and the investigating official are missing since last evening 8 p.m. No information available either at their residences or their offices. They are suspected to have been kidnapped by the influential circle supporting the accused. Let me go to bed, Murthy. Fate seems to mock at me. What Pandey feared has happened. He switched off the TV and disappeared into his bedroom. The morning after next, the prosecutor reached his office room praying that something should turn out by 11 a.m. He continually shuddered at the thought of crumbling reputation. The entire court scene before him was like a nightmare. He shivered at the thought of facing the judge. There was a ring on his mobile. It was Constable Singh from the police station. Chari sir, so far no information either about Pandeji or about the doctor. We fear something must have happened to them. Please somehow manage the court, sir. Totally devastated, Mr. Chari said in a depressed voice. Yes. Leaning over the green felt topped table and gripping his head in despair, he craved for that relief, however small, afforded by the routine sips of fuming beverage, tea. Hopefully, he glanced towards the entrance. Oh, he was roused at the sight of the kettle and the paper cups. This time it was a bearded man in white vest and lungi with the summer peak cap drawn over his eyes. As he served the tea, the prosecutor asked, by way of diverting himself, "What happened to the boy?" "Oh, sir, he is my son. He has not come today, so I have come." He walked off. As Mr. Chari took his first sip of the beverage, relishing it, his eyes fell on the table. A sealed envelope and a folded paper. Filled with fear and suspense, Mr. Chari read the folded paper. A typed, unsigned message ran: "The envelope is the report. Hand it over to the judge. If you don't, you know what will happen to you. After the judgment, please come over to the back gate and get into the car on the opposite pavement beside which a Sardar will be standing. Get down where the driver asks you to get down. Don't ask, don't question, simply obey." What a daring warning! He had to obey or else. It was not wise to reveal this to the court, as his life may be the threat at the end of the court session. Better to obey, Mr. Chari felt, his pulse racing and felt giddy. Inwardly conceding that the accused had succeeded, he picked up the envelope and the note and, wiping the sweat drops, staggered into the court hall and took his seat. Weighed down by despair, thus he sat, shuddering in his seat. Surely he has reached the end of his professional career. What a shame! Am I handing over a report from the defense? If I don't, it will be ex parte in the defense favor. If someone has seen it on my table, it may be worse. I may be held guilty of suppressing evidence. If I do, I may exonerate. Just then, just then, the judge took his seat. Having no other way to deliver it, Mr. Chari rose and, his hands shivering, handed over the envelope and flattered. "Your Honor, here is the report." As he glanced desperately at the accused, he observed a mischievous smile playing on his lips. "Accused wins?" The judge asked. "Mr. Chari, where is the inspector?" "Sir, he has not come and no further information, though the search is going on." "Then I order a probe into the matter of the missing officials and let a report be submitted to the court after investigation as to what happened to the two. Now let me go through the report." There was a hushed, suspenseful silence in the court. After a few minutes of perusal, the judge announced, "Since there is no other evidence, I rely on this clinching report only. The operative portion says, in view of the foregoing, it is concluded beyond doubt that the accused did have physical contact with the victim. It proves the charges against the accused. Hence, I hold the accused guilty. The quantum of sentence will be given tomorrow. He rose and got off the dais. It took a couple of minutes for Mr. Chari to recover from the numbing shock. The accused has been hustled away. Dazed, Mr. Chari, steadying himself, hurried into the specified vehicle after sending his vehicle home. After a few moments, a surprise. The vehicle was proceeded to the police station. At the entrance, Mr. Pandey was waiting to receive Mr. Chari. He motioned Mr. Chari to a chair when his mobile rang. Putting it on speaker mode, he gestured to Mr. Chari to listen. They could listen to the sound of clenching teeth, the voice trembling with fury. Inspector, you will pay for it. I telephoned the expert. There was no answer. How dare you put my son in jail? Through the media, you have spread the false rumor that I have kidnapped the expert. You will pay for this lie. What you say is perfectly true, replied the inspector mockingly. To add credibility to the rumor, I also disappeared into the police guest house, where the expert and I had a nice time having good dinner. The report is in the court. Also, a petition is being filed in the court that if anything happens to the doctor, you will be the first suspect. Please await your son's return home from behind bars. Switching off the mobile unceremoniously, the inspector told Mr. Chari apologetically, I feared violence as also an attack on me if I openly brought the report to the court. Hence, through the media, I created the impression that something has happened to us, leading to uncertainty of my return to the court in time. To outwit them, I walked as the bearded father of the tea serving boy and placed the report as if from the supporters of the accused. I used the language of threat so that even if defense, watching the presence of a note paper along with the envelope, wants the note to be made public, it would be damning them only. Though we could explain the matter later if needed be in the court. Please forgive me for my embarrassment caused to you. Have I not obeyed your instructions? Patting the inspector appreciatively, the prosecutor left home in the police jeep, asking Ramu to drive home from the court directly. On way, he weighed down not by depression but by a basket full of reputation, as Murthy predicted. The end.